got someone very phenomenal here. Consistently scaled high-ticket offers to $400,000 a month.
It's very good money, first of all. It's very fast-paced.
Okay.
Right, and my personality type, I like things to happen quickly.
If you break a business down to its absolute core, the business is two things. It's sales and fulfillment.
Exactly.
That's it.
One of the biggest differences between a decent closer and a great closer is how
you guys are in essence saying, bro, don't worry.
Exactly.
We'll handle the 50% of your business activity, which is the sale.
We're taking so many headaches off your plate. You don't have to worry about any of that. Go do your content, fulfill, let us do the work that we need.
And I don't get it. Like Emirates Airlines, like, don't they have their own marketing department?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, they have their own marketing department. So I'm like, I don't get it. Why do they come to you? He said, because we're the experts. Yeah. So definitely a guy like you who, Allah Barik, is building an office to 400K back to back, and you do this day in, day out, managing teams, just a no-brainer, like, hey, bro, just run the sales for me. Do you guys want to hear something depressing? I've been searching for a halal investment opportunity with high returns for over 15 years. And other than Bitcoin, regretfully, I never found anything solid. The opportunities I found always had one of three issues. It was either haram disguised as halal, or it was super risky and volatile, or it had painfully low returns. I'm talking the type where they mention you make your first million when you're 50. But that all changed when I interviewed the most impressive real estate investor I've ever met, Brother Sam Amin. I interviewed him on my podcast, Righteous and Rich. And he blew my mind away with a halal real estate investment opportunity where he's helping his investors get 50% returns in 2 years. Allahumma barik. In fact, some of the most well-known students of knowledge and well-respected businessmen have invested with him and made hundreds of thousands and even millions. Allahumma barik. And get this, it's actually halal. There are no dodgy fatwas. There's no tricks. It's 100% halal. But there is a catch. There's always a catch. The catch is you have to have at least $100,000 liquid ready to invest within the next 30 days to qualify for his current development project in Dubai, where it's projected that he's going to be giving 50% returns to his investors over a 2-year period, inshallah. So if you're interested and you'd like to book a call with this team, you can do so at the link below. But just a heads up, if you don't have the $100,000 ready to deploy in 30 days, they won't take that call. With that said, let's get into the podcast. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Righteous and Rich podcast. Today, I'm very excited. We've got someone very phenomenal here with us right here. We've got a guy who's a sales extraordinaire, Allah barik, consistently scaled high-ticket offers to $400,000 a month. Not once, not twice, not thrice, but Allah barik, now he's doing it for multiple different businesses. And Allah barik, today he's here to share with us a sales masterclass with Allah's permission. So we're going to pick out as much as we can from his brain to be able to kind of help benefit you guys. Just so you know the format and the structure, loosely is going to focus around two main things. Number one, we'll talk about how to optimize your sales skills, because some of you might be the guys that are doing the sales closes and the sales calls for your business. You might not have a sales team, you might not need a sales team, but then there's those of you that are like, you know what, bro, I can't actually jump on the calls myself, or I've done that already. Now I need to build out an infrastructure, I need to build out a sales team. And you know, the brother, what makes him exceptional here, Allah barik, is that, look, closers are a dime a dozen. Take it from me. Right, they're a dime a dozen. But a guy who actually knows how to build a sales team and scale it again and again and again, that's a different skill, Allah barik. So we're going to talk about it from the angle of the CEO who's got a team underneath him as well. And there's some stuff in between and so on and so forth. So, Abood, how you doing, my bro?
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
I appreciate you having me here.
Wallah, it's a pleasure to have you, bro.
Likewise.
So your agency, mashallah, is called VC Growth. Mm-hmm. And we're going to dive into the specifics of what you do throughout this podcast. But a question for you, bro. How'd you get into sales?
So that's a great question. So it actually goes back to my university education.
Okay.
I went to university originally for life science because I was very interested in sciences and understanding how things work from a biological point of view.
Very interesting.
And then I studied life science in university. And very quickly I realized that, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of money in the field.
Okay.
Right, I started speaking to the students in the like third and fourth year, people that graduated. And I noticed that everyone either went into doing more research or doing medical school.
Okay.
And neither of those things interested me. Right, so slowly I started looking for things that could help me build a career for myself once I was out of university. And I started working for this guy. I started helping him with the business. He had a meal prep business, and eventually I started running the business for him.
Okay.
And one aspect that I really enjoyed was landing partnerships.
Very
So I would reach out to other companies, would negotiate, I would close deals.
Okay.
I was like, this is something that I'm pretty decent at.
Very nice.
So I wanted to start focusing more on that. And then I got my first proper sales role, just doing cold outreach, cold calling, having conversations, and I kind of enjoyed the thrill of it. Right? It was very interesting. Right?
Okay.
Speaking to people, booking calls, having those conversations, closing deals, it was very exciting. And then from there, I just transitioned to software sales. And it was okay. Right? It was a very long process, which I didn't like. And did that for about a year almost. And from there, I got introduced to the high ticket space.
Okay.
I was speaking to someone, one of my very good friends and my business partner actually, and he told me, hey, there's this guy, he's huge in the marketing space, the online marketing space. You know, he's looking to hire a closer. You want me to make an introduction? I was like, you know, what do I have to lose? So I got introduced to him, and it was like a completely new world to me.
Okay.
Right? It was super fast paced. You hop on one call, you close $15,000. Like, this is insane. I've never seen anything like this.
And the guy that you're talking about, I actually know him, mashallah. He's $50 million Muslim CEO, Allah
Exactly. MashaAllah.
And, you know, phenomenal brother, mashallah, tabarakallah. But then that's where you really got into the high ticket space, huh?
Exactly. And once I was in, one thing I realized is it's very difficult to get out.
And
Because
why is that?
mashallah, it's very good money, first of all, and it's very fast paced.
Okay.
Right. And my personality type, I like things to happen quickly.
Okay.
Right? I like the thrill of it.
Okay.
You have a bunch of calls today, you hop on a call, you close a deal, money's coming in. It's just, it's very engaging.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very
There's
scalable.
a lot of dopamine kicks. Because
Exactly.
something's always happening, right?
Exactly.
Like running a business, for example, I might not get a dopamine kick for like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Because I'm building something and I'm just, you know, and it's slowly kind of like scaling. But being a closer, it's big money and it's quick.
Exactly.
Like you can have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 calls a day.
Exactly.
And if you're closing, say, even 20% of that and you're taking 10, 15% commission,
Making decent money.
very decent money.
Yeah.
Very decent money. And like that's like the starting point. You can optimize and get to a 50%, 60% close rate if you're really great, right?
Exactly.
So look, question, you mentioned that life science was something that you were interested in, but there wasn't enough money. Why was money important?
That's a good question. For me, it's not that I'm greedy, right? But I also want a comfortable life. Because one thing that I noticed with a lot of Muslims is they view wealth almost like a sin, which I don't like, right? Because it doesn't have to be. If you have a lust for money, that's different.
Of course.
Right? Because then you're actually just, you're forgetting the akhirah, you focus on the dunya, now you're harming yourself. But if you're pursuing wealth, but you're remembering Allah throughout, it's a great thing because it allows you to do a lot more good. And I wanted to be one of those people. Right? Like you read about the Sahaba who were very wealthy and how they fund a lot of the trips for the Prophet ﷺ, and how they fund campaigns and how they help support the Muslims. And that was something that inspired me a lot because I want to be like one of those people. Right? I want to use money for good. I want to help influence others. Because we also talked about this not too long ago with regards to, like, for example, if you want to bring change to the world, right? Protesting, boycotting, all these things help to a certain extent. But the guys that are able to pull the biggest levers are the ones with the most wealth. And inshallah, at that point, you know, if I reach that point, inshallah, you know, I want to be able to have that influence and use it for good. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to pursue something that was able to generate me a lot of wealth.
Very interesting. So just to kind of reinforce the 2 points that you made, because I do agree with them pretty heavily. So working backwards, you said wealth is a lever. There's a statement by Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah that really blew my mind. He said al-mal huwa silah. He said wealth is a weapon. You use it to defend yourself, use it to advance your cause. Imam Ibn al-Jawzi, who is a great scholar and a scholar, he had an expertise in a plethora of different sciences, and one of the things that he's very known for is the heart. The affairs of the heart, and, you know, abandoning the dunya. In his book Sayyid al-Khatir, which translates to hunted thoughts, like hunting or capturing my thoughts, he mentions that he attended a gathering once. There were rich people and then there were scholars, and the rich people gave the scholars no attention. And he said, that day I realized that a person who's a person of knowledge should take out time to acquire wealth, even if it means that he would miss out on sum of capturing knowledge, because the knowledge who attain with the status that comes with wealth allows them to be taken a lot more seriously.
100%.
So it goes without saying, the wealth is something that the ummah needs. It really does.
100%.
And that's one of the reasons I was really excited to have this conversation with you, because fundamentally, look, when you know, people when they build businesses, there's like 100 things you can focus on, right? Yeah. And sometimes people focus 99% of their time on something that actually is only 5% of the business. Yeah. If you break a business down to its absolute core, the business is two things. It's sales and fulfillment.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm buying something from you, so I'm going to give you money. So I'm transferring this wealth. This is the sale. This is a close. And then you're going to do fulfillment in return.
Exactly.
That's it. So you're literally focused on the fundamental activity that helps grow the bank balance.
Exactly.
Right? So that's something that's this is such an important skill for the Muslims to learn. The second point about wanting nice things, again, as long as it's not excessive and as long as it's not to the point where you're lusting after money. I just came across this beautiful explanation of or a reflection on the ayah in Surah Al-Kahf. You know, we all read Surah Al-Kahf every weekend, and we all know the story of the young boys who went into the cave to protect their iman. These were guys that didn't want the dunya.
Yeah. They
didn't want the dunya, but they abandoned their cities to go into a cave.
Yeah.
And they slept for over 300 years. But when they woke up, what did they say? Go into the village and go bring us back food. And how do they describe the food? Aska ta'aman, the best food.
Yeah.
So, subhanAllah al-Azim, these were zuhad, these were ibad, these are worshippers of Allah, young boys that abandoned the dunya, but still, they wanted good food.
Exactly. There was one of the Sahaba who, he's one of the 10 that was promised Jannah.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting his name, but he's incredibly wealthy. Right? That shows you, like, having wealth doesn't prevent you from going to Jannah. It doesn't prevent you from having good akhirah.
In fact, you'll be shocked to hear that it wasn't one. Abu Bakr, Uthman, Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas had a palace.
MashaAllah.
Right? Zubayr ibn Awwam, Talha ibn Ubaidillah, just to name a few, like at least half of them.
Yeah.
Extremely wealthy. Extremely wealthy. So, no, barakallah feek. I think that's phenomenal, man. So, look, a lot of guys get into sales, akhi. They start closing. And they don't necessarily see results straight away. And I wonder if it's due to the fact that you didn't get into high ticket sales like from day one.
No.
You were negotiating deals. And I don't think you went through like a course or something. It was just real life.
Exactly.
Battle testing the skill.
Yeah.
And then you did cold outreach, which is actually
very difficult.
Hard. And then you've done tech sales. And what people who don't know about selling SaaS products, as you mentioned so rightly, the sales cycle is long.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, correct me, you're usually in a position where the guy already has a product that he's using.
Exactly.
And you're trying to convince him
not to use his and use yours instead. And
there's so much friction because he's going to have to basically just, he's got a product that's already integrated all of his systems in his company, and then that's now going to be removed and yours is going to be put in place.
Exactly. And he's comparing it to a lot of other softwares as well that all do very similar things.
It's brutal.
So good luck winning that deal.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to me that the reason why you were able to, when you got into high ticket sales, scaling these offers to 400K, you did the dirt. You put the work in.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be to those guys that are looking to get into sales and they've done like a Cole Gordon course, or they've learned sales from this guy, that guy, and what would be your advice to actually help them see this through to the end?
That's a good question. I think there's two parts to the answer. The first part is, and this is something I've noticed with a lot of people that enter the high ticket space, is unfortunately most of them have been sold a dream. Right? Because all of these course sellers or these guys that sell coaching programs or mentorships for high ticket sales, they promise you that the second you join, you're making 10, 15K a month, you're traveling the world. They sold you a vision, they sold you a lifestyle. So when you actually get into the space and then you realize that most high ticket offers actually suck, you're not going to make a lot of money. It's a lot of work, right? You're not just going to have 10 calls booked on your calendar. All of them are easy leads. You're just going to be getting perfs left and right. It's not like that. So that already just ruins expectations from the get-go, right? Because there's a lot of friction. So that's the first part. The second part, and I think this is something that a lot of people don't focus on as much, is that when they get into high ticket sales, they're so focused on making money. But the problem is, to make that money, you need to focus on the skill first. So you're focusing on the outcome, but you're not focusing on the inputs, right? Instead, what you really need to be focusing most of your time in is getting as many reps as possible.
Okay.
Right? Like when I first started high ticket sales, it wasn't that I was horrible. It was that I was inexperienced in this specific type of sales.
Yeah.
So my thought process was, I know the first 50, 100 reps sales calls, we're going to suck. They're going to be okay.
It's interesting that you thought that, because I would have thought, if I was in your shoes, having done cold outreach, negotiated deals between, my boss and vendors, I done, long sales cycle tech sales.
Yeah.
This is going to be a cinch, but actually it's very humbling. You, despite having that experience, went in thinking first 50 to 100 are going to be bad.
Yeah, because I realized something, that if you think you know a lot about something, you most likely don't, if it's the first time that you're doing it, right? Yeah, I had a lot of experience that was somewhat similar, but I didn't have experience specific to this.
Okay.
Right? It's like, for example, someone that is a bodybuilder, right? Mashallah, he has a very good physique, but he wants to get into powerlifting, right? It's similar sports, but it's not exactly the same, right? So you need to understand that there is going to be that learning curve. You're going to be transitioning into it. So for me, when I saw the top closers, I was like, there's obviously a huge skill gap. And I know for me to get to that point, I need to get those reps out of the way.
Okay.
Get those bad sales calls out of the way. Just keep improving. And very quickly, I can get to that point where I can make a lot of money.
Okay.
But I wasn't focused on the money itself. Does that make sense?
Very interesting, Alam Barik.
Yeah.
And I think that frame is everything, right? Because when you're focused on the money and you're always... It's actually interesting, right? Because to me, marketing and sales are pretty much the same thing, right?
Very similar.
Was that true?
Very similar.
Very similar. But the reason I would even go as far as to say, I actually don't like separating the two, right? People separate. I don't like. The reason why is because I believe that you should be doing the selling in the marketing,
100%,
right? And let the closer just close.
Exactly.
I don't want my closers to be having to do the selling. So in essence, the stuff that you're doing in the sales call, I'm already doing that prior in my nurturing. The point that I'm trying to get at here is that even in the marketing, right, the more you come across like you don't want the people's money, the more inclined they become.
100%.
And it's a very, wallahi, bro, there's recently I've taken an interest into neuroscience. Yeah. Don't ask me why.
Yeah.
But people can actually smell fear from you. Like they gave two groups of people sweat to smell. And one batch of sweat in one study was from guys that were running on a treadmill, and the other one was sweat from those that jumped out of a plane in a parachute. And when they smelt that batch, it literally sparked the fear response in the brain, because they smelt. They literally smelt the fear and the sweat.
They can tell the difference between the
They
two.
can tell the difference. So I'm saying this stuff here that it's like, it's on a biological level, the way that Allah made you.
100%.
A guy could just look at you and sense commission breath.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because this is something that I teach all the closers that I work with.
Okay. Since we started making content for righteous and rich entrepreneurs, I've gotten so many messages from brothers who've been inspired and want help making money online. They're hungry for financial freedom so they can seek knowledge, do hijrah, and live life on their terms with Allah's permission. But here's the truth. I can't help you. I personally only work with 7 to 9 figure entrepreneurs. With that said, there is one brother that I trust more than anyone else that helps beginners start their online businesses with Allah's permission. In fact, I've sent in dozens of brothers already, and time again, he's helped them make consistent money online. Look, I have a lot to lose by putting my name behind someone I don't have full confidence in. But this brother, I've vetted him and his team and his method. I trust him with Allah's permission. Which is why I'm ready to risk my 10-year plus reputation on telling you this brother, he will help you make money online, inshallah ta'ala. So if you're interested, go to the link below and you can apply for his mentorship. With that said, let's get back into the discussion.
One of the biggest differences between a decent closer and a great closer is how in control of their emotions they are, right? Because that example of the sweat is a very good example, because I was reading a study not too long ago, and one thing they discovered is that even if you have a very, very small change in your facial expression, people pick up on it very quickly.
Time.
Even though it might not be very visible. If your face changes for like a split second, I can tell something's off, right? So for example, let's say you're trying to close a deal and the guy throws an objection at you. Most closers, their face drops, they get frustrated, you've lost the sale.
100%.
Because now this person knows that you're biased and you're after something.
Yeah.
But the best closers, what they do differently, they don't change at all.
Yeah.
Right? They can throw whatever objection at them.
Yeah.
Completely unfazed. And they always win the deal.
Always.
Yeah.
No, it's very important. Very important. And that's the thing, that is when you come across like that, people will be able to sense that from you. Like there's been times I've jumped in a sales call. Not where I'm selling, but I want to buy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I'm already sold on the product. Like, I don't even know why we're doing the sales call. Like, as in, it's this call is friction for me. I want to buy.
Yeah.
But the way that the guy spoke to me on the call made me something I don't want to.
Just throws you off.
Yeah. Like, there was one particular offer. I won't mention who it was.
Yeah.
It was like a done for you service. They help identify your bottlenecks and scale it. And the guy in the sales call, he was, and by the way, this is the 50K offer.
MashaAllah.
Right. And the guy was a veteran. Like, he's actually a veteran sales guy.
Yeah.
Because part of what they teach you here is sales. So his sales guys are going to be proper. But he did something that really threw me off, man. He at the beginning, he was like, so we were after the 50K product. He was like, look, that's not for you. We have a 18K offer. This should be best suited for you because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
When he started talking about that one, and that was more focused on marketing. So the 50K one was focused on marketing, sales, and fulfillment. We want to help with our fulfillment side of things and operations. The 18K was focused more on marketing and sales. And I was like, well, marketing and sales we kind of have. Like, we've got that. I'm a marketer by trade. That's you know what I'm saying? That's what I do. When he was trying to convince us to buy that particular service, bear in mind that he had initially said that won't be good for you. Like, he's coming out as a sincere guy. Like, bro, that won't be good for you.
Yeah.
That won't be good for you. Like this one. When he realized that he couldn't convince us on that one, and he realized it didn't make sense because actually we don't need that. We need the other. He just changed. But it wasn't because he felt like it was better for us. It was just, the vibe I got was, he's just trying to get a sale. He just
wants to close you now.
Just wants to close me now.
Yeah.
Maybe he had 2-3 calls today that didn't go well, and it's like, this one I have to hit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I was like, bro, but didn't you say that wasn't good for us? And he was like, yeah, no. He gave me some wishy-washy answer, and I said, bro, get out.
Yeah. I'm not interested.
Done. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, and it's just so subtle. But that's why I love what you said, that a lot of this is done prior. Like, bro, don't be after the money. When you're not after the money actually comes.
Exactly.
It actually comes. People, sorry, I know I'm going on here. But just one example, just because this is something that I'm actually very passionate about. We did an event not too long ago, and we had a bit of a cash flow issue. A bit of a cash flow issue is actually an understatement. It was actually
big issue.
It was a big issue. And we had an event, and I don't ever sell anything at my events. I think I've sold something at an event once before, and it went very well, alhamdulillah. This time we had an event, we had guys that were like super qualified, 7 to 9 figure guys that were present. We had guys that have been nurtured from our content for years. They've been nurtured over this 3-day event with us. This is supposed to be an easy close. I got up, I stood up, I tried to I did the presentation, I did the pitch. It tanked.
Really?
One guy signed up.
SubhanAllah.
And even then, I felt like he signed up just to kind of...
Out of pity?
Out of pity, yeah.
So what do you think happened?
The only explanation I have is that I was actually desperate for those closes.
They sensed it.
Yeah, I needed to make payroll for my team. It was a difficult time.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now, the second event that we did, I said, you know what, bro? We actually do have a product to sell. I know we have a product to sell. I'm not going to promote it though. I'm going to give them the best event of their life. I'm going to leave them hanging. And everyone is like, and the way I did it was, I was like, listen, so you guys are probably expecting me to sell something on the last day, right? Because we're at breakfast on the last day. Yeah. And they're like, it would make sense. That's what everyone does. I said, I have nothing to sell you. And I was being genuine.
Yeah.
Like, I actually, even if they put a gun to my head, I have nothing. I have no link. I have nothing to sell you. Akhi, it was a crazy experience. Everyone around the table was like, Imran, take our money. Akhi, the guy saying, take my money right now for the next year, all 3 events.
Yeah.
What's like, as in, they would. I was like, bro, like relax. I actually have nothing to sell you. And I just mentioned that story just so people can see that when you genuinely, obviously there are two extremes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't sell anything to someone, but it's just that frame is very important.
Detaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the thing that people hate the most is feeling like they're being sold to. Right? There's a huge distinction between, so the way I like to describe it is okay closers, like regular closers, they sell to you.
Yeah.
Right? But the best closers, they sell for you. So what I mean by that is the decent closers, they're selling you something.
Okay.
Right? Like, oh, this service is going to help you with this XYZ, blah, blah, all that stuff. Right? They're biased. They want something from you. But the best closers, they're selling for you, meaning that they know this is good for you and they're trying to push you to do something that's good for you. Like, for example, imagine you have a friend, right? And this friend is very overweight. And you want him to sign up to the gym, get a meal plan, and actually start taking those steps, right? The okay closers, they try to push the gym membership on them very heavy. Like, you need to sign up. It's good for you. It's going to help you lose weight. But it's like there's something that they're trying to get out of you. But the best closers, they know it's good for you, and they're trying to push you to make a decision that's good for you. So you don't feel like you're being sold to. You feel like someone's genuinely trying to help you.
They're on your side.
Exactly. So you never feel like you have that sales resistance because you always feel like this person has my interests at heart. So I trust them a lot more and I'm a lot more inclined to do what they're telling me to do.
So as a concept, I get that, right? But for someone who's listening and wants to actually action that, what's the practical difference in those two different types of closes?
Great question. I would say the biggest difference is the okay closers tell you what to do, right? Like, Imran, this service is really good for you. I think you should get it because it's going to help you scale your business XYZ, right? The best closers get you to come to that conclusion yourself.
Okay.
So I would never tell you, Imran, buy my program. I'll tell you, Imran, remember how you mentioned that, you know, you're not able to build out systems for your team, right? How much has that cost you? How has that impacted you, right? And then naturally you realize like, oh, you know what? I actually do need a solution. And now you're coming to me to make a change because I've highlighted the pain to you, but it came from you. That's the biggest difference. If it's coming from me, it's meaningless. I'm biased. If it's coming from you, it's a lot more powerful.
So in essence, the fundamental difference, what I've understood from what you're saying here, is asking questions.
100%.
Okay. This is again something that I've just recently started to develop. I've tried to develop the skill. And I've come across this concept called Socratic questioning. Again, it's got its origins in philosophy, but I'm not a philosopher in any shape or form. I don't promote philosophy. People shouldn't look into philosophy as batil. It can misguide you.
Yeah.
But it's just a term that's been coined, which is just like ask deep questions. And I came upon this. I've read this book called Multipliers, and the thesis of the book is you get two types of leaders. They either diminish the output of their team or they multiply the output of their team.
Yeah.
And one of the fundamental things is that one of the chapters was, instead of telling people what to do, telling them the mistakes that they make, ask them the right questions that help them get to the conclusion themselves.
Exactly.
If you can ask the guy the right question that helps him work out what the mistake is or fix the mistake, it will land better internally, and he owns that particular, you know, task as opposed to just blind following you. And if he feels like he did it.
Exactly.
And it's just a lot more effective because you've also given a man the skill of fishing as opposed to have given him a fish. So I looked into this a bit deeper and I came across this concept of Socratic selling, and like there's actually a book called The Socratic Seller.
Yeah.
And it's all about just how to ask questions that lead people to that conclusion. So I think that's very profound. It's very profound. So fundamentally, like, what are the type of questions that you would ask here?
Great question. I would say the most powerful questions that you can ask are questions that make the person realize they have pain, right? Because for example, to use the overweight example again, right? Someone might know like, yeah, I'm overweight, but that's the extent of the pain that they have. They don't realize how big of a problem it is.
Okay.
Or for example, let's say they go to someone to give them a consultation, right? They start asking the question about their health, their blood test results, right? Their heartbeat results, or just all these different health markers.
Yeah.
And you keep expanding on that pain. When he first walked in, he knew he was overweight.
Yeah.
When he walked out, he knows that he's overweight, which is causing him to, for example, develop diabetes, heart problems, lack of sleep. His brain function is decreasing because of the lack of sleep, cholesterol, all these different things. And And now he realized that, for example, his life expectancy is a lot shorter.
Okay.
So now that pain has built up a lot more. So he's a lot more inclined to make a change now. Now he's willing to sign up at a gym.
You know, as you say this, I just remembered something that was done to me. So there's benefits, and then there's pros and cons to living in a country where medical is not free. Like in the UK, medical is free.
Yeah.
So you don't get the best service, but also people will not give you treatment when they don't need to give you treatment.
Yeah.
They're not incentivized to just
hand out treatment.
Yeah, because it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's free. Here, you get great treatment. People upsell you.
Yeah.
And there was this, it can get expensive. So there was a situation where my daughter was sick, and but it was just like a fever, man. It was just, it was not serious, but as parents, as a young child, you want to
be cautious.
You want to be cautious. So for a couple of days, we called the doctor in, and but they know all doctors are like this. The most reputable medical facilities that I go to here in the UAE, they actually don't try to upsell you. And I think that's why people go to them. But then there are those, the one that I found at 11 p.m. at night to just come and visit the house. This particular one, they came and they were basically doing a diagnosis of my daughter. But they were so good at sales.
Well, how so?
Bro, they were just hammering on the pain. They were just hammering on the pain. They're like, okay, we have to do this. Oh, okay, this could mean that she might have XYZ. So we're going to have to do a test for this. And I'm like, I don't think there's a need. They're like, sure, we won't, sir, but if there is, like, you're going to regret it.
Here's the risk.
Right, here's the risk.
Here's the cost of inaction.
Here's the cost. But don't worry, we won't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'll do it.
I want to do it. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do this one as well. Bro, I swear about it, it was one of the most, the way they sold me within 5 minutes, bro, they made me pay for things that was so unnecessary. I paid for it. My daughter's crying. My wife's looking at me thinking, this is our daughter, man. Who cares about the money? I threw everything at them in the end, bro. There was nothing. Like, bro, even the way they pressed on the pain was so effective that I actually thought maybe there's something. She came out completely clean. But that's when you just magnify the pain.
Exactly. Expand on it.
Expand on it.
Exactly. Because when you do, people come to you for a solution. I don't even have to sell you on anything. Because I've built up the pain so much. You come to me and be like, man, you know what? I need help.
I need help.
And I'm just like, okay, cool. Here's a solution. Let's get you started.
Very good. So that is selling for you as opposed to selling
to you. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So what is there a difference between B2B and B2C sales here? Because I find B2C sales to be easier.
Yes.
B2B,
it's a lot more logistics.
It's a lot more logistics.
There's
and
more
guys know they're being sold to.
Yeah.
So what's the differences here?
I would say the biggest differences, so differences aside, one thing that people forget is B2B or B2C, you're selling to people.
Okay.
Right? So if someone's a VP of operations at a company and someone is a truck driver buying a B2C offer, they're both people.
Okay.
Right? For the most part, psychology is the same.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of similarities as well.
Yeah.
Because people usually, they start thinking, oh, B2B is a complicated buyer. It's still a person. They have pain, they need a solution.
Yeah.
Same thing with B2C. I just want to highlight that because it makes people kind of separate the two into like different types of sales when there's a lot more similarities than differences.
Okay.
Right? But the main differences, I would say, is that B2B has a lot more logistics involved. Right? For example, if you're closing an enterprise deal, right? You speak to someone and then they have to bring in another decision maker and then another one. And it has to get approved by this department and that department. And they're exploring a lot of other options as well. They're booking a lot more demos. Right? So with B2B, I feel like you need to highlight the cost of inaction and highlight the benefits a lot more than with B2C.
Okay.
Because with B2C, the window for them to buy is a lot shorter.
Okay.
45-minute call. That's all you have. B2B, usually you have months. Right? So I would say those are the biggest differences.
What about a B2B sale where it's not like a big enterprise, but maybe an entrepreneur, he's got a team of maybe like 2 or 3 guys, but he's the final decision maker?
Yeah. I would say it's very similar to B2C at that point.
The B2C.
Basically the same thing. Because he has pain, right? Because he might come to you and be like, oh, you know what? My CRM is inefficient. And the average salesperson would just sell them on the benefits of the CRM, right? But ultimately, what is your CRM costing you right now, right? We're not able to organize leads efficiently. We're not able to build out the systems efficiently. We're not able to follow up efficiently. What is that costing you? We're not able to make as much money, right? What is that costing you? Well, I'm not able to support my family the way I want. I'm not able to travel. That is the real pain. So when I sell you a CRM, that's what I'm really selling you, right? That end goal that you're looking for, not the CRM. So it's very similar to B2C.
So this point about selling for them and not selling to them, it seems like selling for someone is going to be hard if you don't really, really, really have confidence in the quality of the actual service they're buying.
100%.
Because at that point, it just becomes deception then, right?
Yeah.
When you're like, I'm on your side. This is going to be good for you. But what I'm selling is not really beneficial. And I feel like, I don't know, I actually kind of feel, again, and I only have really experience with Muslim sales guys, but they actually are some of the most moral people I know. Because, and maybe it's just because the way Allah created the human is that you're not created to lie and cheat.
Yeah.
And you find I found that guys that are selling things in the Muslim sales space, they take issue with, bro, like, I can't really sell something that's whack. And if they do, they're not selling with the same conviction, which means that their performance drops. But it's actually because the product is bad.
Not that good.
How much of it do you think actually is that? Where it's like, you could have a guy that's a great sales guy, great sales technique, but the service is bad.
So I'm glad you brought that up because remember the guy I was telling you about a few minutes ago who was the best closer I ever knew?
Yeah.
This guy was, and I don't like using this term, but he was borderline psychopathic.
Okay.
Literally could not care about you whatsoever.
Okay.
Right? He can sell you the worst product known to man.
Really?
But he would make you feel like this is exactly what you need.
Oof.
So that's why I was like, I liked watching him sell because of the way he talks and how he actually conveys the value. But the switch in energy after he hopped off the call was sometimes scary.
Really?
Because in front of you, like, you feel like, you're opening up to this man. I remember I watched a sales call where the person was crying when they were speaking to this guy.
Oof.
Right? And the guy was like, I'm your friend. I'm here for you. He was giving them that energy. The second the call ended, complete shift in person. It's like two different people. And you watch and you're like, some people, they're able to manipulate their emotions so well, they can sell you anything. So when you do have a bad product, genuinely, unless you're basically a psychopath, you're not going to be able to sell it as effectively. Because subconsciously, there's always going to be that underlying feeling that this isn't good for you. So if someone's throwing objections at you, you're not going to push as hard because this isn't good for you. Right? I'm going to let you off the hook a lot more easily. But if I genuinely have conviction that this is going to help you, I'm going to push you as much as possible in a way where I want to help you, not because I want the sale. I know this is good for you. And I know that without this, you're actually causing yourself harm. So I'm going to come off a lot more genuine.
It becomes like that at that point, isn't it? When you're giving that.
Exactly.
There's never a time where you feel this bad for the person. You'll keep talking.
Exactly.
You'll keep handling objections. You'll keep responding to his doubts.
Because it's good for them.
Because it's good for them.
Right? So you have that conviction. And when you have that conviction, it lowers sales resistance. Because people can tell, like, this guy actually wants to help me. Right? So why do they feel so inclined to help me? And they're a lot more open to buying from you.
So this is something that I feel that a lot of business owners kind of miss out on, this particular opportunity here. So one of the things that I would do when I used to have a sales team was I would just constantly share wins with them. I would constantly share wins with them. And the reason I would do that is because just so they like go into the call knowing that, well, this is it.
This works.
This works. And our wins were good, but like there's the brother I told you about earlier, Abu Lahya, he's got this offer called the Influencer Marketing Accelerator. And honestly, bro, I've never seen a product so good, Allah Barik, as in the info space. It's a mentorship, and it's literally like a revolving door. You go in, you come out making money.
Allah.
You go in with zero business experience, you come out making money.
MashaAllah.
Like their success rate,
incredibly high.
Like it became a problem advertising it because people came in with the mindset of, this is like a machine. I put money in, I take money out. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's above 90%.
Yeah.
Like success rate. Alarm betting. And when I spoke with their sales team, bro, their close rates through the roof. And they get 3 wins a day.
Oh.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? And no doubt that their sales team is amazing. They've got great closers and they've got all that. But I know there's an element of, bro, this, you're going to make money when you come in. And when you speak with that level of conviction, people buy into that conviction more than anything else.
100%.
So it's very important because, again, like I said, right, business fundamentally is just it's sales and fulfillment. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I buy a product, I expect to be fulfilled. I give you the money. That's a sale. So they are very hand in hand.
Yeah.
They're very hand in hand. When you reduce these parts and you focus on one over the other, that's when things start to crumble, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Because what people don't realize is the closer, right? He's not just closing. The actual closing starts, like you said, from the marketing, right? The messaging that you're using, the funnel, the nurturing, the email sequences that you're using, right? When someone sees an ad for the first time, their interest level is very, very low. If they hop on a call with a closer, there's a lot of friction. I don't know who you are. Why would I give you like $10,000? Right? But if you're using the right messaging, right? You have a very good VSL, for example. You have a very good setter who hypes them up and primes them for the call. You have emails that, for example, address their main objections, right? You're sending them a lot of resources, a lot of marketing material, right? That interest level is gradually increasing. And then the closer just has to kind of push them over the edge.
Yeah.
And that should be the closer's job, right? Some business owners are like, well, why would I hire a closer if he's just pushing them over the edge? I want them to sell them from 0 to 100. Why are you making it so difficult for your closer?
It doesn't work like that.
Why are you adding so much friction?
As the CEO of a highly influential Muslim company, would you like to know the single most important move that I made in 2025 that's helped me make more money than I ever have before with Allah's permission? Well, it was joining the Live by Design mentorship for CEOs by Coach Fawaz. When I heard that he helps scale the CEO's performance, which ultimately results in the business scaling, I was a bit skeptical. But subhanAllah, this program has transformed my deen, my health, my mental health, my family, my iman, and even my business. Coach Fawaz is now one of the 5 most important people that's impacted me in my life. So if you're a CEO of a decent sized company that's struggling to take his business to the next level, that next 0, that's where Coach Fawaz's Live by Design mentorship comes in. I'll leave the link to the application form below if you're interested. With that said, let's get back into the discussion. This is the way I like to see it, right? Generally speaking, standard commission for a closer is 10%.
Yeah.
That's like high ticket sales standard is 10%.
10%, yeah.
And the reason they get 10% is because they do 10% of the job.
Yeah.
90% is you. That's marketing.
100%.
The sales guy is not the means all and ends all of the entire process. It's a very difficult job, like truth be told. Like as in some people make it sound easy, right? You do all the nurturing before and blah, blah, blah. And the sales guy's job is just to close. That's actually hard. That's the part that's most painful, where you're going into the guy's pocket, you're saying, this is my money now. Thank you. Right? And because you don't have the skill to do that is why you give him the 10%. But at the end of the day, it's 10% of the work.
100%.
It's an important 10%. It's the final 10%, but it's only 10% of the work.
Yeah.
That doesn't alleviate you of having to make sure that the offer is good, that your copy is good, that you've got the nurturing sequences in place, that your VSO is good, blah, 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 so on and so forth.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who he's just sending people straight to a calendar, right? And, people are jumping on the call. He's get some close here and there, but he wants to optimize, right? And it could be 10% close rate, it could be 20%, 30%, but he wants to optimize. Like, you know what? Whatever I'm doing, I could be doing better. And currently, this is it. I make content where I've got marketing. I send people into a funnel. They book a call. That's it. How do we make this pipeline more compelling?
Great question. So that's actually a great question because one thing I've noticed is, let's say you have a very strong organic presence. You might get away with people just booking a call in your calendar because sometimes some closes will go through, like you said, but it's not scalable. Right? You're always going to deal with a lot of friction. People are going to complain about lead quality. Closers are going to churn because they're like, bro, every person I'm talking to doesn't even know what we do. Why am I here? Right? So like we were just talking about, the closer's job is 10%. That other 90%, your main focus is thinking, how do I make the closer's job as easy as possible? You want to think of your closer almost as like an order taker, right? He's just hopping on a call, collecting cash. Obviously, you'll never get to that point, but you want to get as close to that as possible. And there's a couple of things that go into it.
Yeah.
First of all is the offer. Offer is king.
Yeah.
Right? If you have a good offer, everything else falls in place. And when I say good offer, I mean that you have identified a specific demographic, right? Someone niche, not just like I help Muslims, maybe a bit more niche than that, right? And you want to be able to identify a niche problem for that niche demographic, right? The more specific you are, the bigger the pain point that you're solving, right? So people are more inclined to buy. If you have that in place, everything becomes a lot easier, right? And then you start looking at the top of the funnel all the way to the bottom of the funnel, right? For example, what videos are you running, right? You're addressing those pain points. What copy are you using, right? How much nurturing is going on before someone hops on a call? Because that is something that is extremely overlooked, right? One thing that we started doing very recently, and it's helped a lot with both show rate and close rate, is using texts only for reminders. We stopped sending email reminders.
Okay.
So we'd send reminders through text only. And with emails, we send you a lot of marketing material. So we started, I spoke to all of the closers on my team. And I was like, what are the main objections that you guys are getting on your sales calls? Right? One of them was that people don't trust us.
Okay.
Like, what if you guys are a scam? Right? So one of the emails that we started sending is, are we a scam? That was
Very
actually
good.
the subject line.
Very good.
Right? And the open rate was insane because naturally people have that, that objection before they hop on a call. Are these guys even legit? So I'm telling you, before you hop on a call, we are legit, and here's exactly why. And another thing is like, one of the other objections we were getting is that maybe they don't ever have enough time for the program, right? So the subject line was that, I forgot what it was specifically, but it was addressing that,
Yeah.
right? So before they hop on a call,
How to check if you have enough time for this.
exactly,
Something like that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So before they even hop on a call, their main objections have been pre-handled. So they're a lot more open to actually seeing a solution because they feel a lot more comfortable working with you. So that's something that's very overlooked as well.
And I love that you spoke to your closers and got it from them because, again, another benefit of taking sales calls that you come into direct contact with your ideal customers or even your not so ideal customers, and you just look at what they're saying.
Exactly.
Right? This is one of the reasons why I think it's so important. And tell me what your thoughts are on this. I don't believe that the guy, and it could be your business, you could be the owner of the company. But if you're not taking sales calls, you shouldn't be the only guy coming up with the offer. If you're not taking sales calls, then you should do it with your sales team.
Yeah.
Because they are the ones that literally are hearing the words coming out of their mouth. This is what I want. This is what's interesting to me. This is not interesting to me. And you can literally, and one of the things that you find so crazy is that people say the same thing.
Yeah.
And you just look at what people are saying and you just take their words and you put that on the top of your funnel.
Exactly.
Right? You say it in your marketing messaging and you create an offer to reach out to them. We actually had someone working with and he kept insisting that he wanted his offer to be about, some things that benefit you in life.
Yeah.
Right? He was working with business owners. He wanted to help people improve their lives. But the thing is, everyone's coming to him for money. It's like, bro, I want you to help me make more money. So he'll help them improve things in their life, which naturally results in them making more money.
Yeah.
And we're like, bro, just say that.
Literally, people are asking you for it.
People are asking for it.
Give them what they want. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, but I do all the other things as well. I was like, yeah, do that as well. That's a bonus. But this is what they want.
Give it to them.
Give it to them.
Literally,
You know what I'm
asking
saying?
for it. Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to work with your sales team, right? And again, this type of, you can get a closer like a young brother that DMs you and says, listen, can I work for you? That's good. You're helping someone get into the game. But this is where someone like yourself comes in who understands, and this is the importance of having someone that can manage a sales department as opposed to just being a closer, which is that, wait, I'm not here just getting closes just so my close rate is high, right? But we're developing a business here.
Exactly.
And then there's that element of feedback to the fulfillment team, right? Guys, this is the type of guys that we're bringing, make sure you fulfill on them. The fulfillment team is coming back and saying, don't close this type of guy anymore because he's not a good fit for us.
Yeah.
You're giving feedback to the marketing guy saying, this is the type of objections that are coming, handle this in the marketing, so on and so forth, right?
Exactly.
That's where you need that complete package that you guys are bringing to the table.
Exactly. And that's why I was saying, the closer's job is just pushing them over the edge. Everything else happens before that. But the biggest reason why a lot of these businesses don't scale is because there's no communication, right? Like, for example, one of the people that I was working with, right? It was an offer that we were trying to scale. And at some point we were doing 600, 650K per month.
Okay.
Right. And one thing that we kept hearing over and over again from the people that we closed was that they liked that we had a guarantee.
Okay.
A money back guarantee, 90 days. You know, if you're not successful within the program, we're going to give you all of your money back and we're going to continue working with you for free.
Okay.
People love that. But the business owner just didn't want to have a guarantee. No specific reason. And he came to me, he's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to remove the guarantee. We're going to change it to something else, right? I want you to tell the closers that we're no longer offering this guarantee. I was like, but why? This is one of the biggest selling points that we have. It's why we're able to stand out from others in the market. Why do you want to get rid of it? He's like, well, I just don't like the guarantee. I don't want to have it. And I tried to push back on it and he just wasn't open to it. We removed the guarantee and guess what happens next? We stopped closing as much. And he's like, oh, what's happening? The closes aren't performing. Like, no, the closes haven't changed. Nothing's changed. You've just added so much friction and removed one of our biggest selling points. Now, some people might say, you know what, your closers should be able to sell without a guarantee. And that is true to a certain extent. But when it's a purely cold offer, right, and there's so much resistance, there's so much skepticism, that guarantee just gives them that peace of mind. And you just completely eliminate that.
The thing about guarantees, because I avoided using these for years as well, is the fear of refund requests.
Yeah.
Right? What people don't realize is that you make, yes, the refunds will go up naturally, but also the amount of closes you make will go up.
You will make more money.
You'll make more money ultimately.
100%.
So let's just say that I was closing 50%, for example, because it's an easy number.
Yeah.
And the refund request was, 2%. Now I'm closing at 85, 90%, and the refund request is 10%.
Yeah.
But
you're making a lot more cash.
Making a lot more money.
Yeah.
Right. I'm making a lot more money. So it actually works out. The second thing is, I think some people are scared that their service is rubbish. And
that's the biggest thing.
That's your problem then.
That's the biggest thing.
That's your problem then.
That's the biggest thing. Because one of the people that we were working with, they have a guarantee.
Yeah.
And our dispute rate, I think, was 1.3%.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Right? But the reason 1.3%.
1.3%.
That's our dispute rate. The reason why it's so low is because the service delivery, mashallah, it's super dialed in.
Very good, yeah.
These guys really care about delivering a good product.
Very good.
And that also helps when I onboard a new closer, because in this space, service delivery sometimes is very shady with all of these different offers.
Yeah.
Right. So when I speak to a closer and I ask them, what are you looking for in an offer? Right. They're like, oh, I want to make sure that the service delivery is dialed in. And I tell them and I show them our dispute rate is 1.3%. The peace that they have is just incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I want to work with you because I have that peace of mind that what I'm selling is actually good. Right. They're a lot more convicted in the product that we have. So if you have a good product, you shouldn't be scared of a guarantee. Yeah. Now, obviously, you don't want your closes depending on the guarantee.
Of course.
Because then they use it as a crutch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does help a lot.
100%. I mean, you want to make sure from every angle, right? You want to make sure that you've got the right guy on the call. You want to make sure that you've got the most compelling offer. You've dialed into his pain. You've got the most, you've got 10x, 20x the value in comparison to the asking price. And on top of that, we give you a money back guarantee.
Exactly.
Fundamentally, it's all of these things tied in together. Do you know what I'm saying? Because even with the money back guarantee, bro, it's not enough to get a guy to jump over the wall if the offer's not compelling. If
100%.
You can give me all the money back guarantees in the world, but you don't have social proof. You don't have a case study. So then I'm your guinea pig. That's the way I see it. So all these other things need to be there regardless. This is just an extra added benefit.
Exactly.
One thing just for the guys, even if your service isn't amazing, and you should be working night and day to make it so. You should be working night and day to make it so. But even if it isn't, one of the ways to reduce the dispute rate is just by having good onboarding.
Wallahi, this is huge. This is huge. Like the one thing that we started stressing so much with all the clients that we work with is the second someone buys, you basically want to pamper them. You want to baby them.
There you go.
Because the second someone hands you over a lot of money, they're freaking out, man.
Yeah.
They're stressing. Oh my God, I just paid this random guy $10,000. And some offers, they don't even talk to you for 2 days.
Yeah.
So the refund request just goes through the roof.
And those first 24 to 48 hours, there's actually studies, I think 40 hours, to show that is the most sensitive time for the guy who buys.
Exactly.
Right? That's where you just want to exceed the expectations. I'm actually in the process of coming up with redoing my company's core values. And the frame that I've got when I'm coming up with these values is that will these things still be relevant for this company 100 years from now? Because a core value is a core value, right? It's core.
Core, yeah.
It's got to be there. This company, I want it to outlive me, inshallah, because I believe it's beneficial for the Muslims, beneficial for mankind. So it should outlive me. And if it's going to outlive me, then these principles have to be as timeless as possible, right? So I'm just trying to find a way to word it. But what I've kind of landed on is treat this, and hear what your thoughts are. Treat our customers better than their mums treated them. Like that's the frame that I want people to have. It's like, bro, like the moment you give me that money, I'm gonna be nicer to you than your mum. Your mum, nicer than your mum was to you.
Yeah.
Like imagine that frame.
Yeah.
And where I picked this up, I recently went to the Ritz-Carlton. Bro, I was amazed with their level of service. I actually believe anyone who's in business, you want to learn fulfillment, bro? You want to learn customer success, customer service? Book a weekend at the Ritz-Carlton.
Really?
Any Ritz-Carlton in the world. Just go book. Just go book. You know what? In Dubai, or in the UAE. Check on the UAE. I know Ritz generally has a reputation, but in the UAE, because I've been to, just book it. Specifically, if you want, go to the one in Ras Al Khaimah, the Wadi Resort. That's what, bro, I was mind blown.
Yeah. Well, what do you feel like stood out from the experience that you had?
Okay, so I read this book here called The Power of Moments.
Power of Moments.
Power of Moments. Or define, Power of Moments. And I think if you're in sales, if you're in marketing, if you're in fulfillment, you have to read this book. Because in essence, what the thesis of the book is that everything that people experience with you is a moment. And you want to optimize that moment as much as you possibly can. And make sure that moment is as optimal as possible. So it mentions what are things that make moments not so great. And one of the things that you can't escape is the natural pit that comes in any experience. If we're talking business terms, every transaction is going to have a pit. A pit is a waiting period and a point of friction. I'll give you an example. I purchased something from Amazon. What's the pit? I have to wait for it to arrive. Okay. I've just gone to a hotel. I've checked in. What's a pit?
Waiting for the room to get ready.
Waiting for the room to get ready, right? So businesses are filled with pits. There's 48 hours before the fulfillment team reaches out to the guy that you just closed. That's a pit.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to eliminate these pits. The book says don't do that. Take these pits and actually turn them into the heightened points of this experience. Because the guy knows that this is going to be a bad experience. It's not that you just streamlined it. No. You used it as an opportunity to make him think, whoa. I'll tell you something that the Ritz did.
Yeah.
And they did many things, by the way. They did many things. But this was the thing that stood out to me.
Yeah.
This was the thing that... I'll tell 2 stories. So one was, I went into the restaurant for breakfast with my wife and daughter. So as we go in, the restaurant's packed. So the lady says to me, sir, enjoy the Falcon and we'll seat you in a second. Yeah. Now, it was so smooth the way she did it that only because I do this myself, I realize the restaurant's full. They don't have a seat. Yeah. And they want to reduce friction. So instead of saying, sir, could you wait while we get you a seat? And that process is just so, how long am I going to wait? Every minute just feels like 10.
So much friction.
Right?
And
Bro, they had a guy with a Falcon and a guy with an owl in the friggin' atrium. Yeah. And it wasn't just that they had a Falcon. The guys were so charismatic. They were so cool. The guy was like, oh, sir, look at the Falcon. Yeah. You know, would you like to take a picture with it? And straight, I looked at him, I said, bro, this is a predatory animal. He straight away was like, do you know that people claim that the cheetah is the fastest animal on earth? Do you know that actually that's incorrect? Falcon. It's this animal right here. You know this? Do you know the second fastest animal is this eagle? By the way, I have both. I have a show later if you want to come check. Bro, he was just calaming me. Bro, I was amazed. My daughter's looking at the falcon, then there's an owl, and the owl looks like a little, it was like a little teddy.
Yeah.
It was so cute.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I'm actually creeped out by owls. He was like, yeah, I wouldn't blame you. You know, they turn their heads all around. But this one's super cute. His name's Harry. Rub his head. Bro, next thing I know, the lady's saying to me, bruv, your seat's ready. I'm thinking, leave me alone.
I'm happy here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then look at this. I went in, when I sat down and took my seat, the waiter comes to me. And the waiter, I saw him at dinner. Now at dinner, I realized what he was doing. Like this, it was so great. Conversation randomly came up about breakfast. And he was just like, oh, would you be with us at breakfast? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, but we have a lovely buffet. Like, you know, what type of stuff would you like to eat? I was like, you know, do you have omelets? I love masala omelets. He's like, sir, we have masala omelets. I said, really? Okay. With paratha? It's like a Pakistani thing, right? I was like, okay. Yeah. He's like, we got paratha too, sir. And then he was just talking. That was it. I sat down on my chair. He wasn't even my waiter. He came all the way around and he said, sir, I've spoken to the chef. Your paratha's on the stove. Bro, he memorized my order. I don't know what processing systems they had. But like the whole process was like that to me. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, bro, look, I'm selling Ritz-Carlton. I have no affiliate structure with them. I have no commission structure with them. I get nothing out of this. But this is what happens when your service is good. That forget your sales guys closing for you.
Your customers
will close for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Definitely, I believe anyone who's got a service, go to Ritz-Carlton. I'm actually, before we launch our network, our 7 to 9 figure network, inshallah ta'ala, which I believe, you know, and we're really like dialing in on fulfillment. I'm actually going to take my team for like a couple of days to the Ritz-Carlton. Just say, bro, just study. I'm going to go to the general manager and say, bro, how much do you want? Consultation fees? Give me the game plan. Like, tell me what you guys do.
Just to help you with the service delivery.
Let's take it to the next level. Because I'll be honest with you, man, even if you didn't fulfill for whatever reason on the actual outcome, because the guy's experience was so good, no problem.
No problem.
It
gives you a lot more breathing room.
Yeah.
Allah. That's great, man. Like the thing about the pits, I never thought about it like that. Because most people think it's normal. Right? Like, it's going to be a bad experience. That's just how it is.
That's it.
But then just turning that bad experience to something so memorable.
Exactly.
Like, you didn't even talk about the food.
Exactly.
You just told me about the falcon and how you wait. Like, you even mentioned the food.
There you go. I didn't even mention the food. Exactly.
Literally,
right? I didn't even mention the food. The food was actually amazing. But look, it's what people remember most is the last thing that they experience and the greatest, and the peak. Now, if the peak is negative, that's what they remember. And the last thing. That's it. That's what they remember.
Recency bias,
Recency bias, exactly. And that's where buyer's remorse can kick in as well, right? Like when, like, if the last thing that they experienced with you was just a drag, then they're going to regret.
100%. And that's why, by the way, that's a good point to bring up, because something that closers do very often, something that I've noticed, is that once they close the deal, they stop selling. Once the payment goes to that guy, like,
that's it.
Onto fulfillment. You've made the fulfillment team's job so much harder now. Because like you said, that's the last thing that they remember. I had a great conversation with this guy. I gave him my money, switched up on me.
And he came across like he loved me and he cared for me. And then it's just like, well...
not answering my texts anymore. He's very cold. Like, horrible experience. That's a very good point to bring up.
So, do your sales guys stay in touch?
Yes. Yes. And one thing that I stress a lot to all of my closers, and I enforce this, right? If someone bought from you and they were very on the fence, they were very scared to buy, I want you to set reminders every single day for the next 14 days just to check up. Every single day. This is mandatory.
Very good.
Because I don't want the person that just bought to feel like they were sold to. Because they're already freaking out. They just hand over a lot of money, right? I want them to feel like you actually care about them and they weren't just another sale.
Very good.
And that has made a huge difference. Because the people, like the customers, they talk to the customer success team. They're like, you know, I spoke to Ahmed or whoever, and he was a great guy. You know, he made my experience so much memorable. He's been checking up on me. He's been asking how I'm doing. So it just makes the fulfillment a lot more pleasurable for them.
And you know, even just purely from just a money perspective, even if you think, bro, look, I'm here for money, right? I did my job. Even if you wanted to just reduce it to just that, you're going to get referrals from this guy.
100%.
He's going to give you referrals. And that's going to be the easiest close in the world for you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's going to be the easiest close in the world for you. Being a Muslim entrepreneur who's committed to making hundreds and millions of dollars through his business without compromising his deen, I can tell you this is a very lonely journey. But over the last year, I've realized that I'm not alone. In fact, some of the most sophisticated entrepreneurs are Muslims who fear Allah, and they watch this show. They attend our retreats, and they use their wealth for good. The issue is that they're all scattered. They're all alone. But inshallah, that changes once and for all on September the 6th. Because we're going to be launching our exclusive and powerful circle of Muslims making millions, inshallah ta'ala. If you make millions as an entrepreneur or have at least $10 million in assets through investments, then you qualify to join our waiting list at the link below. P.S. I just want to mention, money isn't the only qualifying factor, but it definitely is the first. So you can register your interest at the link below, inshallah ta'ala, and join the waiting list. With that said, let's get back into the discussion.
Even if he doesn't bring any referrals, he's not going to refund.
He's not going to refund.
There's no clawback to your commission.
100%.
So whether you care about him or not, you should be caring about him, right? But even if you don't care, worst case scenario, you're incentivized just for your own pockets to make sure he has a good experience.
And also, you dealing with him, you don't even realize, is going to reinforce how good the service is, which gives you more conviction and confidence to sell it harder, better.
Exactly.
Next
It's
time.
a positive feedback loop.
Mm-hmm. What if we break a sales call down, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the key components of a sales call, right? Because this, I'm kind of going towards script writing now.
Yeah.
What do you how do you start the call? What's the middle? How do you end the call? What are the key components? And I know there's sometimes people break it down in a pretty complex way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really that complex, but if we were to just break it down to to its core components, what are the things that you're trying to hit?
Yeah. So I would say, just to simplify it, there's 3 parts to every sales call.
Okay.
Right? There's the discovery, where you ask questions.
Yeah.
There's the pitch, where you provide them a solution. And there's the close, where you push the sale forward.
Very good.
Right? Discovery. So my approach with discovery, and what I teach my closers as well with discovery, is I actually want you to close them in discovery.
Okay, very nice.
Right? And what I mean by that is, one thing I've noticed with a lot of closers is they just follow a script. Right? What do you want to achieve? Right? What's the bigger goal? Right? You sound like every other salesperson.
So annoying.
And if you've been in the market, you're looking for a solution, you've already had this conversation 10 times. What do you want to achieve? What happens if you don't make a change? Get to the point.
Yeah.
Right? So with discovery, you want to really build up that pain like we talked about. Right? But you want to do it in a way that's not very salesy. You want to be very detached. Right? It's I don't care if you buy or not. That's the energy that you want to have. And people will open up a lot more to you when you have that energy, right? And the other thing that I focus on a lot is, like I said, closing them in discovery. What I mean by that is, I want to understand why you haven't actually bought anything yet, right? Because let's say someone's been looking for a switch for the past 6 months. One of my favorite questions to ask is, why haven't you done anything yet? Why haven't you, for example, gone more advanced support or invested in mentorship? And they're going to tell you the objection that they're going to hit you with at the end of the call.
You get the objections out early.
Exactly. I want to pre-handle all those objections because I want the close to be as effortless as possible, right? So my discovery process is building up that pain, pre-handling all the objections that are going to come up.
Because if you turn around and say, oh, well, it's because it's been expensive in the past, you just understand that money is going to be the objection.
Exactly. So now I want to focus on reframing that mindset and getting you to commit to finding a solution.
Okay.
So that's the approach that I have with discovery.
Okay.
Right? Is I want to build up that pain, pre-handle any objections that come up, and get you to commit to finding a solution.
So how would you do that? Let's just say someone says, for example, the reason I haven't is because the other options in the past, they've been pricier than I expected. How would you then pre-handle that objection?
Yeah. So I'm going to share my framework with you, and that goes to any objection that comes up.
Okay.
Right? Including this one. One of my favorite ways to handle any objections is, let's say you just gave me an objection, like this one that, there are other pricier options. I want to get you to realize that way of thinking is what led you to this point where you're having this pain.
Okay.
Right? Because you're telling me that there are other pricier options and you've never invested, and yet you're here on this call looking for support.
Yeah.
But had you invested in those pricier options in the past,
you wouldn't be looking for support.
We wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
I love that.
So do you see why you having that thought process of, oh, it's pricey, I don't want to invest, has actually hurt you more than it's helped you? Right? And now you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. But I flip it on you. So if you do want to achieve XYZ outcome that you told me you want to achieve, right? Do you feel like you want to keep approaching this with the same mindset? Oh, it's pricey, I don't want to invest, let me just back away. Or do you want to do things differently? I want to do things differently. Why do you want to do things differently? Why not keep thinking the same way? Oh, because I'm going to be in the same position. Do you want to be in the same position? No.
What is that position? Oh,
exactly.
Struggling to make payroll, wife is upset, this, that, got a kid on the way. SubhanAllah.
You keep building up that pain.
Right. You just keep pressing on it.
I haven't even pitched you yet.
Yeah.
I haven't even talked about the offer.
But he's already sold.
Exactly. He just told me that, you know what? I can't keep thinking like this. This time I'm going to do something different.
Yeah.
Right? So I've technically closed you in discovery. Then I pitch you.
Okay.
That's the second part of the call.
Okay.
And the way I like to describe pitching is, for example, like, obviously it's not how Muslims work, but in the Western world, right? You don't propose to your girlfriend unless you know it's a yes.
Yeah.
Same thing with a pitch. I never pitch someone unless I know you're going to buy. Which I know if I've pre-handled your objections and I've gotten you to commit.
Very interesting. So you don't tell them, you don't make the offer, you don't make the pitch.
Unless I know you're fully committed to making a change and I genuinely feel like what we have is a good fit for you.
Okay. Do you have like a checklist of what these objections might be? Are they like a common set of objections that usually come up with you? Or...
So...
money is usually one. Time, I assume.
Yeah. Money, I wouldn't even say it's an objection. So there's two parts to it, right? There's the logistics side. They actually don't have the money.
Yeah.
Usually depending on the offer, maybe there's financing or payment plans or whatever it is, right? So that's not really an objection. It's more of a logistic problem. The other thing is they have the money and they're scared to invest, right? That is an objection.
Yeah.
What most closers do is straight away, financing, payment plans, just break it down to payments. No. This is a fear objection. They have the money, they're scared to invest.
Okay. So it's a trust issue.
Exactly.
Okay.
Fear, uncertainty, they don't feel comfortable putting that much money up front. Right? So I would say that's one of the biggest objections. But honestly, if you do a very good job in discovery and you pre-handle all objections, the close is usually very effortless. Or you might get like a bit of an uncertainty objection. That's pretty much it. Super easy to handle.
The point is fish for the objection early.
Exactly.
And then
get rid of all of them, pre-handle all of them, get them to commit. They need to come to you and tell you, you know what, you're right. I need to make a change. I need a solution. Then I make you an offer.
Okay, cool. So then the offer is the pitch.
Exactly.
Anything in particular people should remember when making the pitch?
Yes. The biggest thing is do not make it a monologue. Because that's one of the biggest things people do. For example, I was reviewing, I just took on a client not too long ago, and one of their closes was pitching, wallahi, for 40 minutes straight.
A'udhu billah.
40 minutes. The whole sales call shouldn't be 40 minutes. Right? And then she's like, I'm getting hit with so many, I need to think about objections. I'm like, obviously. No one is listening to you for 40 minutes straight. They don't even know what you just offered them.
They're very polite to...
Exactly. Like, if I was being pitched for 40 minutes, I would not be telling you, I need to think about it, tell you, bro, leave me alone. Like, I'm fatigued, bro. I need some time to recover from this, right? So the way I like to explain the pitch is keep it very personalized. It's a conversation, right? Like, Imran, remember how you told me, you're struggling to hire good closers? So what we're going to help you with is XYZ. Do you see how that can help you with achieving XYZ? Yes. Okay, cool. That's the first pillar. Then we have the second pillar. Remember how you told me this? Here's what we're going to do to help you achieve XYZ.
So you link it back to the pain.
Exactly.
This is the problem that I have. And you show them how your offer has the dream outcome.
Exactly.
Of that pain.
Exactly. Okay. This is your pain. This is how I'm going to eliminate that pain to get you to your dream goal that you talked about. And I just do it over and over again, but I do it in a conversational way. I need you engaging with me in the pitch because otherwise you're going to feel like you're being sold to. Which I don't want.
A thought that I have, So, and again, I imagine when you have a proper closer who's giving feedback to the entrepreneur or the CEO or whatever, these problems can be optimized. But I'm talking kind of probably this issue is more so going to be with guys that sell for their own businesses, as in he is the entrepreneur, he's the solopreneur, and he's also the closer. When doing the pitch here, some offers are like simple, right? We'll get you leads, right?
Very straightforward.
We'll get you high quality leads that convert at a 50% rate. Like, very clear. Some offers, and maybe are not as simple. And when making the pitch, people lose people in the complexity of the offer. To me, there's a copywriting issue. Because fundamentally, your sales team, they're going to the offer is fundamentally, the way you write the offer up, it's going to be as good as your copy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I explain this offer in a very effective way and I give that to my sales team to create the script, that's going to be the core of what they use in the pitch. A lot of the time.
Yes, but also it comes down to the closer themselves.
Okay.
Which obviously like is always the case to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Right? Because the best closer can simplify things in a way that even a monkey can understand what you're selling.
Absolutely.
Right? The simpler it is to understand, the more likely they are to buy.
Absolutely. Which is why I predicated that at the beginning, as you just so rightly mentioned, that if you have a good closer, you won't really have this. It's more so with the solopreneurs themselves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they find themselves like, I'm just not getting the close. I lose them at this point. It's a copywriting issue, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know how to explain this in a simple way, in an effective way. Things are very abstract. So I always like when I write copy to ask myself, is this something I can have a vivid image of in my mind? Is this something I can point to?
Yeah.
Like if I can point to it, I can transfer it with simplicity to the guy that's on the call with me or the guy that's watching my video. But if it's abstract, words are vehicles for meaning. So to say, we're going to optimize your sales funnel. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean, bro?
Yeah.
We're gonna manage your CRM. What does that mean? Do you know what I'm saying? But to say, I'm gonna help you get 2-3 hours back every day so you can focus on the more leveraged work in your business so you can scale it by handling your CRM. Okay. That's what you mean by you're gonna manage my, what does it mean to optimize my funnel? Those leads that you're not retargeting, the ones that you're losing about 10-20% on, I'm gonna retarget them for you, right? And I'm also gonna do a few other things like that where you're missing out on low-hanging fruits to help you get another 20-30%. My point is that just make it, like, give something that someone can have an image of. But of course, a closer that knows what he's doing would, if he's not able to do it himself, he would work with say, bro, what's going on here? This is not working. People are getting confused at this point.
Yeah.
But I find, and that's my point, that it's all connected.
It's all connected.
And I guess the reason why you don't have this issue is because we didn't get to talk about this yet, but you guys actually manage for your clients the marketing end to end to this, like from click to close.
Exactly.
So I guess that's the benefit of having a sales team that's managing your marketing as well, is that everything's congruent.
Exactly. And that's such a good point to bring up because I've worked with clients before where I only did the sales management, right? I would manage the team, I'd build out the team, the onboarding systems, all that stuff. But the marketing was handled by someone else.
Yeah.
Now, obviously we can still get you good results, but the biggest challenge that we run into is there's friction in communication, right? For example, with my business partner, Muhammad, the reason why we work so well together is because we're a team. He handles the marketing, I handle the sales. There's very efficient communication.
Okay.
It's like, hey, Muhammad, I spoke to the closer. He's telling me this is the feedback he's getting on the calls. If you've reviewed the calls, that's actually what's happening. Here's the issues that we're running into. Do what you need to do with the marketing side, but I need this fixed, right? And same thing from the other side, right? He's telling me feedback from the marketing. He's like, inform the closers about this so that they're able to close efficiently. So there's no friction in communication between sales and marketing. So it's a lot more streamlined. It's a lot more efficient.
So, bro, so the guys that hire you, in essence, are hiring a CSO and a CMO with their teams underneath them. So a chief marketing officer and a chief sales officer.
Basically.
With the teams that come with it.
Exactly. Like a growth partner.
Yeah.
You just focus on content and make sure people have a good experience.
This is actually this is what you would call $100 million offer. This is like what Alex Ramosi calls an offer that's so good that you feel stupid saying no to.
Exactly.
Because in essence, usually, like, what's the story of an entrepreneur, right? He solved the problem for himself, so he's good at the fulfillment.
Yeah.
And he realized that other people are willing to pay him money to solve the same problem for them. Could be marriage related, health related, business related. Like I have a friend, for example, who's done a great job at homeschooling his children. He's got his own systems and curriculums, and he's been wanting to set up his homeschooling offer, but sales and marketing is an issue for him. He's like, bro, you give me the parents and I'll transform their kids' lives with Allah's permission. But this is the area where there's friction. In essence, you guys, and that's usually the hardest part of running a business, at the beginning at least, which is getting leads and closing the leads. I've got the service, I'm great at it, but give me your money first. That's the hard part. You guys are in essence saying, bro, don't worry.
Exactly.
We'll handle the 50% of your business activity, which is the sale. And you just now give him what we promised him. That's powerful.
We save you a lot of headaches and we give you so much time back. That's that's basically what we're offering you, right? Because like you said, for example, someone like the example you just gave me, he's very good at helping the parents' kids. Right? But he doesn't want to manage a sales team. It's so much headache. Right? This is happening. This is going down. Review this call. Review this. Do this or that. No one wants to deal with all
tracking
that.
Data.
Exactly. Like,
looking at the call to close rate, the calls booked to close, offer made to close,
like,
no show rate. Looking at all that stuff. Then coming up with solutions to fix it.
Exactly. Implementing the solutions.
Then going to the marketing team at the top of the funnel and making iterations to the ad. So you do all of that?
Everything.
Track the analytics, Google Analytics, everything. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. So you don't have to. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, we're taking so many headaches off your plate. You don't have to worry about any of that. Go do your content, fulfill. Let us do the work that we need.
So, I'll tell you why this is, I think, very beneficial. Yeah, because there's some guys that are listening that their business is running. It's doing a great job. Alarm Badik. You know, they've got marketing, they've got sales, and things are moving well for them. But the reason why this sounds very interesting to me, and even I'd like to sit down and have a conversation with you after, inshallah, is because one thing, so I have a friend, I actually consider him to be a mentor, and he's been a consultant of mine. He's a CEO of one of the biggest digital marketing agencies in the region. It's number 2 in the region and number 7 in the world.
Allah.
Their clients are like Emirates Airlines, DP World, Damac, Property, Emar, Soba, Realty. These are his clients. And he was talking about DP World, which is it's a company that's got $1 trillion in assets. It's the biggest logistics company in the world, right? They describe it as the biggest company you never heard of.
Allah, yeah.
And I remember when I was talking to him and I was like, bro, why have they hired you? They're so big. I don't get it. Like Emirates Airlines, like, don't they have their own marketing department?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, they have their own marketing department. So I'm like, I don't get it. Why do they come to you? He said, because we're the experts. Because Emirates is the experts in aviation.
Yeah.
DP World is the expert in logistics. We are the experts
in marketing.
It's like we've got, you know, just they have like this thing, like this platform in which they've been gathering data since 2002 till now on all these massive different markets. And he's like, bro, like if Emirates hires a guy, he's not going to be better than our guy. Emirates is one enterprise company, like our guys have worked on thousands.
Yeah.
So that made me realize, like, if Emirates is outsourcing their marketing, and sometimes these companies are outsourcing elements of their fulfillment, like the biggest e-com business in the world is still outsourcing their delivery to UPS or whatever have you. It shows the importance of going to experts. It shows the importance of going to experts. So it's actually shrewd business. It's being a masterful business to say, you know what, sales is not my expertise. Marketing is not my expertise. I've got a great product. I've got a good brand. Let me just bring guys in that will do the infrastructure. So definitely a guy like you who, Alarm Badik, is building an office to 400K back to back, and you do this day in, day out, managing teams, just a no-brainer. Like, hey, bro, just run the sales for me.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I would say I think the reason why people don't outsource is 2 things.
Yeah.
The first is fear. Right? Because picture yourself as that business, because you are a business owner, right? You just started this business, maybe you're making 50, 100K per month. Yeah. It's almost like it's your baby.
Yeah.
Now you have to give that baby to someone else and trust them to take care of it.
Yeah.
So naturally, you're going to be a lot more fearful.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I don't want to trust that person with this responsibility.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to get to those 5, 6, 700K months, right, you have to let someone else take charge. You have to outsource and just trust that this person can do a good job and just let them do what they have to do. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I think people are just scared to give up a bit of their revenue or their profit, right? And it's funny because, you know, I always tell people when I'm on a call with them, it's like, would you rather have 100% of 100K? Would you rather have 80% of 500K? It's a no-brainer.
100%.
Right? Like, you're giving a chunk up, sure.
Yeah.
But you're doing that in order to make a lot more money. Right? So I'd say those are the two biggest things that people run into. And that's why maybe they're a bit more fearful of outsourcing. But ultimately, you know, when you have someone that's handling all the headaches for you, they're handling all these issues, they're managing everything for you. Yeah, maybe you give up a smaller percentage, but you're making so much more money and you have so much more time back. You don't have to deal with anyone else.
Yeah.
Right? Let the experts do what they have to do. Focus what you're good at.
100%.
You're not good at closing, and that's okay. You're good at whatever you fulfill on, whatever you're good at, right? Have someone who is good at what they are and just let them handle that side for you.
And you know, what you say is very profound because, like, let's just say that, okay, you're giving away a chunk of your revenue to someone to do the job. طيب, okay. But you just earn all these hours back. You can now start creating features to increase the lifetime value of that prospect. And that usually is, as in, you know, you're taking that slice home. Like, for example, if it's a membership service, reduce churn by improving the product. So actually, you end up making more money.
Way more money.
Way more money. Okay, let me tell you a secret. I have access to some of the greatest Muslim entrepreneurs and investors in the world that are alive today. And I've been thinking long and hard about how to give you a personalized experience with them. Finally, my team, alhamdulillah, has come up with a solution. Starting from today, every week, you will get your questions on scaling your business and halal investments answered by the best Muslim entrepreneurs and investors, inshallah ta'ala. Think of it like a podcast straight to your email inbox. Each email will give you simple but powerful insights on how to make more halal money. If you're interested, just subscribe at the link below, inshallah ta'ala. It's free.
You can also focus on the biggest revenue generating activity, which is pushing out more content. You're able to get so much more leads.
Coming up with more high ticket offers, ascensions, cross sales, upsells, downsells. Like, if you have a downsell, for example, that you introduce, like, sometimes downsells can account for 5% of your revenue. You know, just something that's like 10% of the original price, but it's just so valuable, so nice. At one point, for us, like, downsell is bringing in 5% of our revenue, man. Just something, and that's 100% yours. There's no commissions there.
Exactly.
I think this is those type of people I don't like working with, man. It's like, bro,
they're too fearful and they're too not stingy, but they don't have a growth.
I don't even want those guys at the table. It's like, bro, like, as in, you're gonna give me 10 more problems down the right because you just don't understand business.
100%.
Like, it's like, if I want to get leads, I have to run ads, for example, right?
Yeah.
Now there's gonna be a ROAS. There's gonna be return on ad spend. Now, what's my ROAS? Well, it's gonna be, I'm going to try and optimize my ROAS based on how much I'm actually spending in the first place. So for every 4 leads I get, so for example, $1 I spend, I get 4 leads. Or for every $4 I spend, I get
$4.
I get 1 lead.
Okay.
For example, right? Or sometimes for every $100 I spend, I just get 1 lead. But then I've got to make sure that my product, my service is valuable, the price is right. That $100, I mean, I'm closing the guy on $1,500. So if it costs me $100 to get a lead, and my close rate is 50%, for example, I spend $200, and, you know, I've just on $1,000, $1,500 offer, I just made $1,500.
Yeah,
it's like it's a numbers game. I'm not articulating it very well. You have to forgive me.
I get what you mean.
You get my point, right? Like, it's in the maths.
Exactly.
It's in the maths.
What's your client acquisition cost? How much are you making from each client?
Exactly.
That's it.
Like, you know, whenever I do a podcast with the guy in sales, you guys are always so articulate and you're always so concise. I find usually on these podcasts I don't talk much. The guest always talks more.
Yeah.
But it's always on the sales call, the one where there's a guy who's got sales experience, because you guys won't interrupt. You just listen. And sometimes I'm waiting for that cue, you know. But that's how I know you're good. Because you're very concise in your MashaAllah, tabarakallah.
Yeah, that's what I like to teach my closers as well.
Yeah.
The analogy I like to use is, I think I got this from Hormozy. As a closer, you want to be like smoke.
Oh, okay.
That you just, the person is talking. You just pop in, you ask a question, and you just kind of disappear into the background. You let them fill that space.
You let them fill that space.
Because again, everything needs to be coming from you.
Yeah.
Nothing needs to be coming from, I can never tell you what to do.
100%.
I can never tell you to buy.
Yeah.
You need to come to me and be like, Abood, I have a problem, right? Because of the questions that I asked you. I need a solution. All I have to do is be like, Imran, here's exactly how I'm going to fix all your pain. And here's how I'm going to get you to your dream goal. Where do you want to go from here?
Simple.
That's it.
Simple.
So effortless.
Allahumma barik.
That's why closing is super simple, but it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Sales in general, very simple, but it's not easy. There's a lot that goes into it to make it look effortless. That's what people don't realize. They watch a good closer perform, like, oh, you know what, this looks very easy. They hop on a sales call and like everything is just so messy because you haven't gotten those reps in. That goes back to the original point that we talked about, right? If you're new to sales, get as many reps in as possible. Get all those bad habits out and start building those new habits and understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Jamil, how do you deal with the up and down performance of closers, right? Now we're kind of transitioning to talking to these business owners now who've got sales teams, right? Like, how do you deal with like a closer just not performing very well? What do you do in that situation?
So there's a lot of, it's kind of difficult to answer that question because it's like asking, how do you deal with a business that's not making a lot of money? There's a lot of things I need to look at, right? For example, is this closer usually good, but now they're not performing, right? So is everyone else performing, but not this closer? Is everyone else not performing in general, right? Did we make massive changes with the setting team? Were there big changes with the marketing? Like, I need a lot more context to pin, and that goes back to, remember the data conversation that we had, right? It's like you need to really zoom in and figure out exactly what is the thing that is causing that issue. So it's difficult for me to answer because I would have to have a bit more context. Unless maybe you have like a specific scenario that you're looking to answer.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there, right? It's like usually, it was a bit of a juvenile question, so to be honest, but inshallah, it exposes some value for those that are watching, that the devil's in the details, as they say, right? It's like when you're tracking data, you start to see things that you just didn't see. Like for example, one of the things that we noticed with one of our partners was that they were getting a crazy amount of leads. So the amount of leads that they got from a particular organic video that they released was a lot more in comparison to the other videos. The things that video didn't get a lot of views, right?
But so the conversion was high.
But the conversion was very high. As far as we're concerned, like 5 leads came through that.
Yeah.
But then this particular partner, we were basically optimizing this thing week in, week out. So they're getting like 2-3 leads that are coming in from videos that are getting 4 or 5 times the views. But because we're releasing multiple of these, it seems like they're performing better than this one. Then we looked at that, we were like, wait, why not just send more traffic to that video? Because that video is a killer at conversion.
Yeah.
Like, actually, for every 500 views, they would get a sale. A sale, like a close, like a high ticket close.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's like, let's just send people
to that video.
To the video.
Yeah.
Now, we would have never made that decision had we not just pause and looked at the data. But again, I know this can get overwhelming because people are like, wait, I'm doing all these things, you want me to try the data as well? And that's where
the most important thing.
But that's where obviously we bring in experts like yourself.
It's the most important thing. For example, there was one client that we started working with very recently, and they're like, man, like the clothes aren't performing. It's like, what does the data look like? Like, we don't have data.
That's the mushkila.
Bro, my heart, I felt like someone stabbed me in the heart. Like, what do you mean you don't have data, bro? Like, how am I supposed to help you? Like, bro, like, what's going on with the business? I was like, first things first, track everything. So we built out systems to actually start tracking the data. I gave the operations guy the exact data that we were looking for. And we started to really track everything for at least a week, just because we want at least enough data to have a baseline, right? Obviously, a week isn't a lot, but going from no data to a week of data is a huge improvement.
Absolutely.
And from there, we were able to actually see exactly what was going on.
Very nice.
The setting process was pretty good. The conversions were pretty good. The biggest bottleneck was just close rate. That was the actual problem. Because they came to me like, bro, like, we want to change the setting script. We want to maybe change the offer. I'm like, relax.
That's not the problem.
Let's just track everything first, because we don't even know what's going on, right? So the biggest advice that I give to any business owner is track everything. This is the most, like, if I were to invest into one part of the business the most, it will be data and making sure that it's accurate. Because without that, you can never truly optimize your business. You can never truly scale.
100%, because everything else is just subjective. It's just speculation. It's just conjecture.
Exactly.
But numbers, you can't argue with numbers.
Exactly.
You can't argue with numbers.
And that is one of the biggest sins of business owners.
Oh, wow.
Is that, let's say, for example, you have a sales team, right? A closer would come to you and be like, man, like, the lead quality dropped. The lead quality sucks. Most business owners or most coaches or whatever, they're like, oh, the lead quality sucks. Let's look at the market now. Like, hold on. What does the data actually look like? Because I've had closers come to me and say that, right? Like, bro, the lead quality dropped. It's not performing. I look at the data, the close rate is the exact same. Maybe it even went up across the whole team. It's not a lead quality issue. It's that specific closer was the issue. Let's talk about that. What's actually going on?
And even sometimes just like, it's like, bro, there's nothing wrong with the sales pipeline. Just need more leads.
Yeah.
Like, it's just more leads. Like, there's been situations where, because I'm used to a certain level of traffic that's coming into the funnel, I assume that level of traffic is still coming. And then we were like, no, actually, for some reason, traffic's dropped by like 60%. Oh, that's a very easy fix. I know what to do now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Very important.
You can't be very reactive, right? Obviously, you need to take change quickly if you know what's the problem. But, and that's something that I tell all the clients that we work with, right? For example, let's say we have one day where things aren't great. Maybe we didn't close as much. Maybe the show rate was a lot lower than usual. Immediately, they want to make changes. Like, slow down. Let's just see how it plays out over the next 2, 3, 4 days, right? Because it's sales, bro. There are going to be days that are off. Some days are going to be incredible. Some days are going to be horrible, right? What does tomorrow look like? What does the day after look like? Is there a trend? If there is a trend, right? Is it trending upwards? Is it trending downwards? Where is this trend originating from? Is it the marketing, the setting, the funnel, the sequences, the close rate, whatever? Then we start diagnosing. But if you start making huge changes the second something changes, you're never going to have a stable business. You're always making changes.
You know, one of the hardest things about when you get into the data and everything, right? It's not even necessarily tracking the data, but it's the softwares and tools that you use to manage the CRM and the pipeline. Which ones do you recommend? Which ones would you say, like, because there's so many out there. There's GoFunnel, there's Close.ai, there's Salesforce. There's so many different ones, and it can just get a bit overwhelming. Like, do you have like a go-to one?
So we personally use Go High Level with all the clients that we work with, just because we found that it gets the job done, first of all, which is huge. Obviously, you need something that actually gets the job done. The second thing is that it's easy for the team to use.
The thing about Go High Level, right, is that it literally has everything you need.
Exactly.
The issue is that it requires someone who has a degree of sophistication. Because you could have Go High Level and you're not even like making use of 98% of it.
Exactly.
So how do you guys solve that problem?
So that's where my business partner Muhammad comes in.
Okay.
Right? He's very good with the systems. And again, that goes back to, like, remember the sales and marketing conversation? There's a lot of communication between us, right? Same thing with the systems. And this is something that a lot of business owners overlook. It's that they just want to find something that works. That's not enough. You need to find something that works and is easy for the team to use. Because here's the thing, bro. If you have setters and closers, especially if they're commission only, they're not getting paid to do the admin work, right? I was working with a client before. They had so many SOPs. Wallahi, Imran, I was struggling to keep closers on the team. They were like,
too much friction.
The VA was texting him like every 15 minutes. Did you do this? Did you do that? Like, bro, I don't want to be here anymore. Too much work. I'm not getting paid for this, right? So when you are building your systems, one good thing to have in mind is it easy for the team to use this? Is it simple?
There needs to be automations, get some AI integration, make things streamlined. Because fundamentally, that closer, you want him to be on sales calls.
Exactly.
If he's doing admin all day, every day, there's got to be a degree that he's got to do. He's got to be updating. But fundamentally, if you didn't hire a VA, you hired a closer.
Yeah.
You want him talking to people.
Exactly. So focus on making their job as easy as possible. Like one very good practice that I have with my team, and I would recommend any business owner do this as well, is have conversations with the sellers and closers. Figure out how much friction there is with the SOPs that you have and the admin work, and just find ways to make it easier for them. Because so many business owners, they complain, they're like, man, like they're not filling out the end of the day form. They're not doing the postcard. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. Maybe it's just because it's so much work. No one wants to do this work. So figure out how to make it easier and just get it done for them.
Do you have GIFs? Do you use GIFs?
What do you mean?
You know those GIFs that you send on WhatsApp?
Yes.
What's
For follow-ups.
Yeah, what's the most effective GIF for a guy that's ghosting?
There's a Kevin Hart one.
The Kevin Hart one?
Yeah. It works really well. There's another one, I can't remember specifically which one. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and wait. Like that. And it works because it's a good pattern interrupt.
You know the one that works freakishly well for us, yeah? So I had Abu Bakr doing the sales course for all of our retreats. He's my partner.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason I wanted him to do it is because it was just it just didn't have time to train the sales team on the offer and it wasn't something that people even need to be sold on. Like they would jump on the call and it was more like, what date is it? Okay, cool. Let me just book my tickets and fly in.
Yeah.
But then you have the guys that don't respond or whatever have you. It was just easier for him to take it, right? But he's not a sales guy at all. And he's the kind of guy that feels shy to ask you for money. He will not follow you up and whatnot. So it was getting crunch time because we had like 3 weeks to sell out the whole thing. And we had a lot of leads. This guy does not follow up. I just said to him, send the Homer Simpson one. The one where the guy just is fading into the leaves. Maybe we could put it on the screen right now. But he called me back confused. Like he's a very analytical, cynical, skeptic, pessimistic guy. He'd be like, nah, bro, I'm not gonna send a meme. But he called me back saying, bro, I don't know what it is about this. I don't know what it is. But everyone's responding.
Yeah.
So do you have any other hacks like this?
Yes.
Like, go on.
Yes. There's one. I got this from Jeremy Miner.
Okay.
And this was probably the best pattern interrupt that I ever saw in my life.
Okay.
So a seller was trying to reach me. I don't remember what I opted in for because usually I just like opt into random stuff.
Okay.
So I have random people calling me. I just don't want to answer.
Funnel hacking.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's just see. So this one seller, props to him, he was following up with me like crazy. Just calling me, texting me, all that. And I just wasn't answering. No offense, like my bad. I know how it feels. And he just sent me a text. It was hieroglyphics.
Oh, wow.
Just that. I look at my phone like, what the hell? Like someone trying to like hack into my phone. I open my phone. Immediately he follows up with the follow-up text. And I was like, damn. He got my attention. I opened the text to see what it is that they were sending. And then I actually responded to him. I'm like, you know what, bro? You got my attention. Let's hop on a call. It worked so well.
What I found in those situations, is just be funny. People will respond.
Yeah.
Like there's been guys, that have been following me up in my DMs. You know these youngsters that are just like, hey, I handled this for you, I handled that for you.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes I'm just looking and I'm just laughing to myself saying, if you keep up, you might get a response from me. You might just get a response from me,
Yeah.
And they were customizing memes. They were creating memes about me. Like as in, like taking a meme, like for example, the skeleton on the bench.
Oh, okay.
But mentioning my name, Imran, I'm here. I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. I was like, you know what, bro? Props to you. It works.
It's a
the
good
ghost
pattern
emoji. The ghost emoji. Yeah.
It's a good pattern interrupt.
Because you're calling out people's activity that they are doing. It's like,
But not in a confrontational way.
Not in a confrontational way.
Joke is like, well, come on.
What do you think about... So I don't know what the term for this, but I had a brother who's we brought on to do some sales for us. And this was just working for him like a killer every time.
Yeah. Like
guys that were just like not responding, he'd be like, I don't think this is right. I don't think you're ready for this. He would just randomly flip it on them. He called it reverse something. I can't remember what it was, but it was something like, you know what? I could see you're not ready for this. Forget about it. Something like that.
You mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Like how would you phrase that? And would you think that's effective? Because for him it was working. And guys would come back and say, no, I'm ready.
Yeah. That one is a bit tricky. I think it depends on the persona you're selling to, the offer, and how bought in they are.
Okay.
If they're very bought in and you have very good rapport, it could work. Otherwise, it might rub people off the wrong way.
Okay.
It's like, but who do you think you are? Like, why are you saying that? You know what I mean?
Okay.
I would be a bit more cautious. The funny ones, the joking ones, I would always use them.
They always work.
They work with everyone.
They always work.
Those ones, I'd be a bit more cautious of.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question, because we're running out of time. Actually, I have last question about sales.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts where guys that are running B2B offers, high-ticket B2B offers, just let you know about the price before? Because I'm kind of inclined right now where I am to just be like, bro, this is the price.
It can work.
I'm talking before the sales call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can work, and I've seen it work very well.
Yeah.
In 2 cases.
Okay.
First, you have a very good product, and you're solving a very niche problem, and it's a pretty expensive product. Right? Like say, if it's like 1,500, 2K, no. If it's like 10, 15, 20,000 plus, yes.
Okay.
The second thing is you have a very strong personal brand.
Okay.
You are the authority.
Okay.
And people know that you're the authority.
Okay.
Then you can get away with saying the price. It's like, hey, I charge 10K for this. If you want to work with me, book a call.
Okay.
Otherwise, if no one knows who you are, the offer is a bit more generic.
Yeah, if the traffic's colder, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It might turn a lot of people off.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just thinking from the angle that, so we launched this network. I think I'm just going to just put it out there.
Yeah.
Definitely it means that you get less leads coming to the funnel, but they're more qualified.
100%.
And everyone who jumps onto that call knows exactly what it's for and jumped onto that call despite knowing. And I guess it is niche, 7 to 9 figure community of Muslim entrepreneurs. Nothing like that actually exists. But it's always just annoying as a prospect. Like, bro, just tell me the price. Like, as I know what's going on. I just want to know the price, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I get the argument, if you tell the price, then maybe he wouldn't have converted and it was good for him. And he actually did have the money, but there was that price to value discrepancy there.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Especially if you're selling to rich people, you can get away with dropping price.
Yeah.
Because they're a lot more straight to the point. It's like, I know it's a sales call.
Yeah.
I know you're going to pitch me. I just want to have an idea.
Absolutely.
Right.
Beautiful, man. I think this is very informative. I think it's very educational. We discussed a lot of things here. This is in essence like a masterclass to some extent. We discussed a lot of value, and I think people are going to walk away with a lot. Just want to conclude by mentioning, Akhi, that obviously we spoke earlier, and I asked you like, what's your vision, and you mentioned you wanted to do something big for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. You're Palestinian yourself.
Yeah.
So why is that course so important to you, and how are you planning to link what you do here with sales and marketing to that?
Yeah. I would say for me, and I feel like to a certain extent, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people that have their own entrepreneurial journey kind of get caught up in, making money and scaling the business and growing and all that. But one thing I've noticed is that the more money I've made, alhamdulillah, the less I've cared about buying nice things and acquiring all these like flashy stuff.
You're just wearing Tommy Hilfiger, Alarm Bellic, standard.
Alhamdulillah, right?
But you're casually just scaling office to 400k a month.
Like we've literally, I worked with an offer where we were doing 700k a month. Right? And I realized that it just becomes a number. And if you focus so much on that number, it's empty, it's meaningless. Because there's always going to be a bigger number. You can always make more sales. You can always buy a nicer car, a nicer watch. It never ends. But you never feel whole with what you're doing. The one thing that I've always found fulfilling over and over and over again throughout my whole journey with everything is giving back. Right? Even if it's just finding a homeless guy and just buying him a meal. Right? So for me, it's like the money is nice, but it's not the end goal. It's a means to an end. And that end for me personally is to give back to my brothers and sisters in Palestine, like you said. Because ultimately, we're all going to die one day. And none of this means anything. Like the angels in the grave, they're not going to ask you how big do you scale your business. They don't care, right? Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah's not going to ask you about that. It's your good deeds, the things that you've done. Allah's going to judge you. What have you done with the money that I've blessed you with? Because it's not your money. Allah gave you that money, right? So I want to be prepared to answer that question Yawm al-Qiyamah, inshallah, and be proud of the answer that I give Allah. It's like I've helped my brothers and sisters. I've done what I can to provide for them as much as I can, inshallah. So for me, that's the end goal, because like I said, money is nice, but it doesn't really fulfill you.
Well, I ask Allah to give you utmost success, man. And I also think there's something else that you're doing that you may not have even realized, which is there's a lot of Muslims in sales, akhi. But the overwhelming majority of offers that they're serving are offers for non-Muslims that have an element of haram, lots of haram in there. But one of the biggest problems that I hear guys talk to me about when it comes to sales is like, akhi, like I have to compromise. Like there's little lies I have to tell here, little this, or you're dealing with a prospect where you're having to help him finance to riba and this and that, and it's like, you know, it's just like you're helping to create a space for Muslims to be able to operate where they don't have to compromise their deen, man.
Inshallah.
Like as in, all the Muslim closers can come, and if they're good and they're great, they could, you know, join your agency, and then you're then going to Muslims who have offers. And by the way, Muslims is weird. They don't know about high ticket sales. They don't know about high ticket sales. They have no clue. This has been around for 15, 20 years, and the non-Muslims have been crushing it. And now we're starting to, whoa, I can sell for 5K, 10K, 20, really?
Their minds blown. They're like, what? 90% margins? Like, this is crazy.
It's crazy, right? And so you're going to help Muslims make more money. You're going to help those in the sales place make money without compromising their deen. And I think there's so much khair that's going to come from that, man. So look, I really thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. But I learned a lot speaking to you.
No, likewise.
And I said to you at the beginning, you know, the sales guys I always love the most are the ones that don't come across like sales guys.
Appreciate it.
And you genuinely didn't. Like, from the moment I sat you, like, I swear by Allah, I was just checking for where's the salesness, because the sales guys just carry themselves in this salesy way. But the guys that are at the top of the game, they always just come across authentic. And I sense that from you.
Appreciate it.
And I really would urge, you know, brothers, those that are stuck with that 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, they're just not breaking into that 6-figure mark. Trust me, bro, having someone just manage your sales and marketing,
can make your life easier.
It's a gift from Allah. It's a gift from Allah. And you have someone who's Muslim you can trust, who's done it, who's got the proof in the pudding with multiple other offers in the past. Definitely is worth getting in touch.
Alhamdulillah.
Barakallah feek, man. So look, we'll put the link in the description below towards your social medias and more information if they want to apply to work with you. And we hope Allah gives them a new success.
Ameen. Likewise, Habib.
Barakallah feek. With that said, guys, inshallah, we'll see you next week for another episode. Check out our brother Abood at the link below. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.